Go.
Streaming from South Africa to the world. This is the Stonks Go Moon podcast. What just happened? We break it down so you don't have to.
Welcome everyone to the Stonks Go Moon podcast. My guest today, Jon Hook, co-founder of PlayEmber. Welcome to the pod.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Rocco. Excited to be here.
Awesome, man. You guys recently joined forces with Immutable. What made you choose that platform sort of for your player rewards and your main Quest launch event?
So the starting point was a personal one. We've known the team for over 3 years now.
Wow.
And initially, we just got started talking about casual gaming and our vision for casual gaming. And Immutable brought us in for a tender, actually, for a Cool Cats Match 3 game. So that's kind of where the relationship all started. So fast forward to now, we've recently partnered with them and Pixelmon to release Monster Tycoon on Immutable, and the recent announcement that we're also launching our MBIP games there.
Yeah.
So I think really in terms of now is this joint vision for casual games, and also an ecosystem where there's some incredible casual games already. So when we think about Immutable building this casual gaming ecosystem and platform, a key part of that is games and players. So when I look at games like that Chris is building at Mystery Society or Paradise Tycoon or Anil and Blast Royale, for example, that starts to make sense in my mind when you've got really engaging content that's actually going to attract the right kind of players that match our games.
Who started talking to each other? You said it was a 3-year relationship. It shows you how long sometimes it takes to build a partnership. People think it just happens overnight. Who started talking to who? How did that sort of happen?
I think it was actually an industry event. I think maybe in San Francisco. I can't remember the exact event. I think a while ago it was maybe even a G7 event at Berkeley University. But just again, it starts with people.
Yeah, it starts with people. Awesome. So those events are pretty much, are they still important as they were 3 years ago?
Well, I think when you go to events for someone like PlayEmber, you need to go for a specific reason, right? You're maybe activating a game or a partnership.
Okay.
Or for us, the other reason, of course, is fundraising. There's no substitute for meeting people and building relationships face to face. I think outside of that for PlayEmber, now that the world we live in, particularly mobile games into the distribution, we've never had to attend an event to launch a kind of a mobile game previously because that distribution channel, they're not at like Token 2049, right, for argument's sake. So I think it really depends on your goals.
Yeah, it's always easier when you ask people for money to put a face to the voice. Talk to me about your journey from traditional mobile gaming to incorporating blockchain and NFTs. How's that gone?
Yeah, it's been, so we try to bring the same data-driven approach, right? I put a tweet out the other day that making games is dumb, right? And what I meant by that is, it is actually really, really hard. And the only way you can negate burning lots of money and burning through, if you've raised money from investors or your community, you have a responsibility to invest that money wisely. So for us, we're still very much on that journey. It would be completely remiss of me to sit here and be like, look, we've completed Web3. We haven't. We've been running a series of tests for different versions of what Web3 casual gaming could look like. Pixelmon Monster Tycoon is one version of that. The MB games are another version of that. Some other games we'll be announcing soon are other versions of that. So I think we're on the right track in terms of we've figured out how to basically bring brand new Web2 players into a Web3 game where they're active participants in your economy from day one, versus what 100% doesn't work is just having a great mobile game and just slapping some Quest platform or blockchain into the game. I think history shows us that doesn't work, and I don't think that's going to change.
Talking about that slapping stuff on, how has your experience been with Immutable, and sort of what are your expectations from this partnership?
So I think the way we work with Immutable is building on what I last mentioned is basically just like solution building, right? I don't think we're not trying to build this giant piece of enterprise technology in a 4-week sprint and we're done. It's kind of like we will run some tests, we'll get some players in, and we'll try and figure out what's working, what's not working, that players understand or don't understand, where churns are. We have a joint group chat with the technical team, and then we'll go in there and brainstorm, okay, for the next sprint, this is, these are the kind of things that we want to test. And, a couple of longer term things in there, of course, about marketplaces and genuinely trying to figure out in-game, in-app trading that at the moment for everyone is a little bit hacky. So that's really the, for me, a great way to work, right? Because it takes off the pressure of having to build this multi-billion-dollar company in 1 month, and it's trying to focus on those short-term, like incremental, like wins at a game and player level that will just compound month over month.
Yeah, because everyone wants everything now, right? When
exactly
Rome wasn't
right.
built in a day, but Web3 seems like
challenges.
Everyone wants everything now. How has partnering with Immutable been? Have you seen, in terms of your engagement and retention, have you seen a difference, or is it still early days?
Yeah, so for Monster Tycoon, we ran a really successful quest campaign, and that had a couple of elements for sort of the existing Immutable players. They could go into the IMX platform, complete quests, and get rewards. And then also there was a kind of creator activation towards that as well, to of course drive awareness of that, but also drive in net new players into the questing system as well. And we're actively working through with them right now some new quests for our MB games that I'm very excited to get live.
So it sounds to me like you sort of have to be in the same Slack channel with them, right? It's like a day-to-day thing. It's a marriage, if I'm reading it correctly.
Yeah, there's a lot of very open communication, and I think what's important is also open communication, understanding in games that you're more likely to fail than win. And it sounds very weird saying that out loud in a Web3 context, but that's just the reality of game development. But that's where the growth comes from. So I think, the kind of Slack, I think we've got 3 different Telegram channels with different parts of the IMX business as well, depending on the ask, and also juggling like 3 different time zones. So that kind of real-time communication is super important.
With any like marriage, there is often a quarrel. How has things ever become heated? Or, I mean, it's a professional environment, but yeah, you know what I mean. How has the marriage been?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think, like you said, that heated discussion is great because it actually shows that you both give a shit.
Yeah.
If it's just all quiet, then for me, that's not normally a good sign, because it's like neither party actually cares, because it's just, we're fine, okay. But arguments for me are healthy, and the same in game development. It's just the way that you construct those arguments and the outcome. So we always have heated discussions because we're trying to create something that doesn't exist, right? So you're trying to come Web2 in, Web3 in, and try and find a meeting in the middle. And of course, when things don't work, that's kind of inevitable. Very comfortable with that coming from casual gaming. But I don't think, because we've known them for 3 years and there's multiple levels to this relationship, I think there's just a mutual respect and approach to how we're going to build this. So, yet to have a heated discussion, but constructive ones for sure.
I love it. Jon, last question before I let you go. What games are you currently playing, and what draws you to them?
So for me, I'm always focused on the top grossing Web2 mobile games. So what I mean by that is the games where the most money is being spent in game, and understanding those mechanics. Because one of the things I realized early on when I looked at Web3 gaming is you've got a lot of like AAA console gamers and maybe some like high-end RPG gamers. But when it comes to casual mobile gaming, I think there's not a lot of familiarity with those mechanics. But if you take Coin Master as one example, where effectively the game loop is you're kind of completing a village, unlock a village by basically spinning a wheel. So it's kind of like casino mechanics. Those kind of casino gambling mechanics have got a very good fit with the Web3 audience, the kind of DJs, right? What they like to do. And I realized that early on when I looked at the type of casual mobile games that the timeline was really enjoying. So I spent a lot of time studying those mechanics. You know, Monopoly Go is another one. You've got Raw Match by Dream Games, who've tried to move on the match 3 category. You know, their recent valuation was like 2 billion. But interestingly, unlike Web3 valuations, they're also making a significant amount of like revenue from their game. So those are the kind of games I'm always looking for and trying to figure out how some of those mechanics could work with a sort of blockchain powered game loop.
So do you sit and actually play through them and say, like, dissect it? Oh, I like what they did here, or ooh, I like this and this. Is that how it works?
Yeah, 100%. Like I'll be playing games, the team will be playing games. There's loads of great like podcasts and YouTube resources as well, where we'll be looking at how other people are perceiving those games as well. And then obviously we'll be looking at the DApp radar, the timeline, to kind of see what's being built and also what hasn't worked in Web3 and understand why before we just make any rash decisions. Because if you're building a bigger meta mechanic in a game, that takes a little bit of time. Again, a bit like people just want to shove blockchain, and you can't just be like, oh yeah, there's this great game mechanic, a few lines of code, off you go. Sometimes these are like 3 to 6 months worth of development and testing and costs. So yeah, you definitely have to do your research.
Man, I love it. Jon, thank you so much for joining me today. If the listeners want to go and connect with you and find out more about PlayEmber, where can they do that?
Yeah, follow us on X. I'm sure we'll kind of pin that.
We'll put all the links in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me. And to our listeners, peace, love, and prosperity. We'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.
Now she's lost in pixels, needing just one more rush. Every swipe, every light pulling her deeper. Through the glass, losing grasp, she's a keeper. Eyes wide open, but she's so far gone. Stuck inside the screen where her world's all wrong. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. She's a scream queen fighting through the dark. In a neon world, gotta find a spark. Pixel by pixel, she's breaking free. This game's got nothing on her, she's the key. Now she's the main character, running through a maze, battling her demons while the music plays. Armored in courage, heart like steel. She's punching through illusions just to feel what's real. Every foe, every troll haunting her dreams. She's dodging all the traps, ripping at the seams. Eyes wide open, she's taking back her soul. Her life's her own, she's in full control. Yeah, yeah. She's a scream queen fighting through the dark. In a neon world, gotta find a spark. Pixel by pixel, she's breaking free. This game's got nothing on her, she's the key. Now she's the main character, running deep, stronger than before. The scream queen's legend, yeah, she'll fight no more. But in her heart, the battle's tattooed. She beat the game, and she's back to the truth. Running through a maze in a neon world, gotta find a spark. Pixel by pixel, she's breaking free. This game's got nothing on her, she's the key. Now she's back to reality, stronger than before. The Scream Queen's legend, yeah, she'll fight no more.